Welcome to the Level Up Podcast. Each week, we'll be talking to some of the most successful executives in North America to share business strategies and insights for leaders of emerging and mid-market enterprises seeking exponential growth. Let's get started.
Nick Araco here. I'm the host of Level Up and the founder and CEO of AchieveNEXT. Each week, we talk to some of the leading executives and rising stars from business and industry, sharing their strategies, their insights, their stories, and their advice for leaders of emerging and mid-market enterprises seeking exponential growth. Past guests of Level Up include CEO of Bradford Soapworks, one of the oldest companies in North America, Stu Benton, entrepreneur, technology, and startup leader, Mike Krupit, Travis Shoemake, the first LGBTQ plus driver for NHRA, and Dr. Young Lee, president and CEO of the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. Friends, today I have an opportunity to turn the tables on this whole Level Up experience, and I'm going to be the guest, which means I have to have a host who can handle me. And boy, do I have a host who can handle me. Dr. Jeremy Wise has interviewed thousands of CEOs and C-suite leaders across industries, across markets, and his entrepreneurial efforts have led to many successful ventures. I'm so pleased to have learned everything I know about podcasting from Dr. Jeremy Wise, and Jeremy's here with us today. So we're going to hear firsthand from Jeremy as he turns the tables on me in just a moment. Before we get started, let me share with you that Level Up is brought to you by AchieveNEXT. You set your strategic business goals, and we help your people achieve them. Whether pursuing organic growth, mergers and acquisitions, or an exit strategy, AchieveNEXT provides emerging and mid-market enterprises with benchmark data, with trusted peer insights, and with a suite of talent acquisition and management solutions to help achieve the next level of business and people performance. Discover what you can achieve next at AchieveNEXT.com. Okay, Dr. Wise, I teed it up for you. I already set the stage that you've interviewed thousands of CEOs and leaders through your podcast and other efforts, but I don't know, can you handle me today or what?
I don't know if anyone can handle you, Nick, but we'll try. And, I'm excited because this is a special episode. This is what we call a year in review, big lessons learned, top guests, top lessons from the past year of interviewing some of the top executives and C-suite leaders. And if you're watching the video, you will see us looking at each of the episodes. But I encourage anyone to go to AchieveNEXT.com and go to their insight/podcast page and check out, or you can subscribe on your favorite channel. And we're going to start off with creating impactful experiences with Roy, President, RDS Advisors Corp. And this was an interesting episode. Again, he's been in the hospitality industry for over 30 years. And some things that stuck out with this one, Nick, is why it takes a collaborative effort to create and scale a brand beyond financial success. He talks about an innovative idea behind Roy's successful jewelry business, and even sharing a story of his start in hospitality and his experience working with Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, I have to say, you meet people in life and you can't help but think about first impressions and typecasting. And I would tell you, listeners, do not typecast Roy Schindel as someone just out of hospitality. By the way, a storied career in hospitality, working for Mr. Arnold Palmer and his holdings for many years. But this is also a man who, through immigrant parent roots, grew up in a family business, grew that family business at a young age of 21, oversaw 60 people. I mean, think about what you were doing when you were 21. Give me a break. I mean, I could barely tie my shoes. And then after successfully helping his family sell the business, he doesn't go, oh, let me put my hands behind my head. No, he goes off and invents patents for an earring of all things, an earring ring without the hole needed, right? And then he builds that business and he sells that. And then he's not done again. He's like, hey, how about hospitality? And he takes on the brand, the experience of the Arnold Palmer properties, and he takes it to the next level. But I have a feeling like we could walk by Roy right now and he would stop and say hello to us like he would say to anybody. And I think it's in him that regardless of the type of business, for him, it's all about relationships and people and what they feel, what they want, they need. So I loved it. He's a great guy for telling people don't typecast, don't judge a book by its cover.
The next one, Nick, growing your team from 2 to 200 with Miles Anderson, founder and CEO of Bright Local. Again, great episode. Their tools and services are helped over 80,000 local marketers develop success for their brands. Huge impact here. A couple of things that stuck out was why vulnerability is an important leadership trait for Miles. What inspired Miles to start his own business, how he learned to lead a company with 200 employees, his goals for culture, and much more.
Yeah, I wish I was more like Miles in terms of his calmness and consistency, even through growth. I'm a pretty vibrant, vivacious, energetic person, and Miles has this energy, but he channels it into comfort. And so as the company grew from 2 to 200, 4 locations around the globe, it is in a hot sector, from a business standpoint and in marketing technology and business. He operated with a sense of sensitivity and individual relationships being the driver. And so, I can imagine, given the company's growth, time is his greatest asset, but he pours it into people. Right now, as we speak, as we're taping this, he is on his way to Poland to help his employees who had to escape from the Ukraine due to the war. I mean, amazing that he is saying my priority are the health and safety of the people and their families and everything he needs to do. So it is personal with Miles Anderson. And I love that about him. It was personal when it was 2 people. It's personal when it's 200, and it will continue to be that way. And that's why he's been successful.
This next one, Nick, the importance of diversity to business success with Travis, the first LGBTQ plus driver for NHRA. And Travis is a licensed NHRA funny car and super comp dragster driver. So this is a remarkable episode. He talked about, shared the story of where his passion from racing came from. How did growing up in a competitive racing environment influence him? What motivated him to focus on his passion and overcome struggles, and also experience becoming the first openly gay NHRA racer?
Yeah, Travis' story is an amazing story in that he grew up with a father who was at the center of the NHRA dragster and drag racing industry, and lost his father due to outside a race course, but to an auto accident that took his life way too soon, and when Travis was way too young. But the interesting piece about Travis is Travis didn't say, well, I grew up as a kid, working in this industry, I'm going to go right into it. He developed his own relationships, his own reputation, his own brand in the hospitality industry of all things. And only recently did he say that spark is still in me. I can do this. I can be, considered a leader in motorsports. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to let me being different, me being diverse, me being someone that isn't typically behind the wheel going to stop me. In fact, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to make it so that people know that you can be who you are, that this industry will embrace you, that the fans will embrace you, that the sponsors will embrace you. And hey, make mistakes. He's already crashed once, he said. So once you crash once, let's hope he doesn't crash again. But I got to tell you, following him now and his story will be something I do for the years to come.
The next one, Nick, elevating founders into CEOs with Mike, founder of Trajectify. And with this one, it's a business and leadership coaching company, 2013, to help entrepreneurs and small businesses succeed. And they've done that, with 8 diverse startups, Real Food Works, Novatorium, CD Now, and many more. And 30 plus years experience. Some things that stuck out is his transition from engineer to effective leader. He talked about why every mistake can be an opportunity for growth and success, and just about understanding people and communicating effectively.
Yeah, Mike hasn't peaked. Even with all of those success stories, he is still a work in progress, and he owns that. And he also understands it's all who you surround yourself with. I learned how to build communities by talking to people like Mike. He successfully built 2 communities that I admire in Philly New Tech Meetup and Bootstrappers Breakfast. good people know good people. Mike is someone who will build his reputation and relationships based upon sharing mistakes made and lessons learned to help others avoid them versus patting himself on the back or looking for a spotlight. With all the success doesn't need to come ego. And Mike embodies that day to day. And like I said, he hasn't peaked yet. He's got more ahead of him.
The next one, Nick, we talk about redefining talent and executive recruiting with Bob Blumenthal, a talent acquisition human capital strategist. And again, a wealth of experience, began his career in sales and marketing, IBM, also worked at AT&T Data Systems Division and so many more in private equity, large family offices. And what stuck out with him is he shares the foundational understanding, how he built his consulting role. He talks about the shift, the pressure with the pandemic and performance. And he talks about psychometric tools you can use to help you choose a candidate.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, if there any one of all of my guests have, I'll call one meter that they all share, which is a BS meter. And, Bob owns a good BS meter, right? So there's where he puts the systems and design in place. But I'll also tell you that when it comes to talent acquisition, the harder the hire, the easier Bob and his systems make it feel. That's what he's good at. He understands that fit is everything. And fit is a mix of science and culture and, core competencies, both technical and interpersonal. And he gets the system down so that it feels digestible for both the talent and the talent hiring source. And I watched him do it for enterprises, large and small, public, private, not for profit. And now at this stage of his career where I call him evergreening, but evergreening with purpose, he's here to help. So if you're one of these people kind of stuck with, I'm not sure what's next, or I'm not sure who best fits, I call Bob. You should call Bob too.
Yeah, I love this one too, everyone. It's a must check out. He has tips for a successful executive level interview and so much more. The next one, Nick, is turning your employees and customers into loyal fans with Ruby, and founder of 7-Star Service. Again, Ruby's presented approximately 3,000 staff development sessions in 24 countries. She's been a member of the National Speakers Association since 1995. She discusses her passion for coaching. Why actively listening and connecting with your staff can lead to boost in performance, and just tips for increasing employee loyalty and retention.
All right. So for all of you sports freaks, professional sports lovers, Ruby has worked with and is working with over 66 professional sports teams across leagues, and has worked on international sporting events ranging from the Olympics to the Super Bowl. And everyone remembers her. Talk about a spark of energy, a spark of enthusiasm, a spark of positivity, but tied to purpose. If you're a company, a business, an industry, a leader who says, I know we have an experience, I don't know what it makes it unique, but I want to figure out what that formula is and scale it so that it touches many, Ruby is the person to talk to. I mean, her stories about where she's been, who she's seen, what she's pulled off without ego is a sense of inspiration. So you need a jolt of kind of energy, and you want to hear what goes on when you open a new venue in Dubai, contact Ruby.
This is an especially important topic, Nick, right now, and it will be forever, but especially right now because of what people are deeming the great resignation and trying to find what their purpose is and finding the right place for them too.
Yeah, I agree with you. The connection there between employee experience and customer experience, or fan experience, or client experience, or whatever you call the people that buy or utilize your product or service, Ruby's mastered the formula behind that and the rollout with scale.
The next one is building a diversity-friendly startup ecosystem with Terrence Craig, startup and investor advisor. Again, wealth of experience in AI, SaaS, big data. He works with organizations like the Capital Network, investors of Colored Network, Toyota Ventures, and so much more. What stuck out with Terrence is, he stepped into a business leadership role, and how do you do both social good and, basically attain your fiduciary responsibility, and some of the lessons he learned from his entrepreneurial journey, overcoming discrimination in the corporate world itself. And he shares about how a minority entrepreneur is at a disadvantage for raising capital?
Yeah, I mean, look, I will tell you, I think out of all of my 2021 guests, the person that probably gets tapped on the shoulder or at least recommended the most in volume is Terrence, because of that work around trying to advance funding and financing and gateway opportunities for Black and Brown entrepreneurs. He in and of himself is a successful Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur who said, why does it have to be so hard? Why don't we try to make it easier and let's fix the systems? It's got to begin with connections and capital, and both have to be there, but let's do it in a way that's comfortable and non-confrontational so that it can be replicated and not viewed as a chore, but a duty, responsibility, and most importantly, an opportunity.
The next one, Nick, is helping the future generation succeed in the sports entertainment industry with Diane McGraw, president, executive producer of McGraw Productions. And with this, just again, when you geek out on sports and entertainment, we're talking about 30 years, including Los Angeles Grammy Awards, the 1994 Soccer World Cup, the Major League Baseball, NHL All-Star Games, and so many more. And some of the things that stuck out with this is kind of how she built her career and the lessons she learned along the way, her mission behind Dare to Dream experience, which is to develop those future leaders, and the importance of equipping the next generation with knowledge of the industry.
Yeah, Diana's a very humble person, given all of her successes and the richness of her relationships. But her passion and dedication, especially now at this stage of her life and career, to creating gateway programs for the next generation of talent in the sports and entertainment industry who would never have had access to understand how the business or the behind the scenes work. Get behind Dare to Dream. We're behind it. Everyone should be behind it. It should be an opportunity to make it easier for the next generation of talent to compete and entertain all of us through the next decades.
The next one is Reimagining Outsourcing for a Better Business with Suneet Bhatt, president and board chair of Boulder. Yeah. And, with this one, he is the creator of My Authentic Story, where he helps people unearth, frame, and tell their authentic stories. He also founded Dream Village, an organization that uses picture books and the web to help kids explore. Throughout his career, he's helped raise over $42 million, is dedicated to supporting others on their professional journey. A couple things that stuck out is how flexibility can be a game changer for your team, the problem with putting too many constraints on your business. And he also explains why the workforce was ripe for disruption.
Yeah, the workforce was ripe for disruption and communities were as well. And Suneet and Boulder have combined the two. If we're going to employ and engage and do work with employees and customers around the globe, why are we not getting involved with them to better the communities that they live and serve in? It should be a two-way equation, not a one-way equation, or off work hours, on work hours. It should be part of the livelihood and lifeblood of these communities. And Suneet owns that. Suneet believes in that. And Suneet and his colleagues at Boulder have put their time, energy, and dollars behind connecting, mission, vision, and values inside the scope of employment to mission, vision, and values of communities.
The next one, Nick, is a team-centric, inclusive leadership style with Marty Cordaro, president of the Omaha Storm Chasers in Union, Omaha. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about this, but Marty was also recognized as the Minor League Baseball Executive of the Year in 2013, and is consistently at the forefront of this industry. And he talked about his team-centric approach. He talked about community influence in his leadership style. And he talked about some of the traits he looks for when hiring.
Yeah, I've got to do a follow-up episode with Marty in the months ahead once the Major League and Minor League Baseball delays and work stoppage have ceased, so I can get an insight from Marty how all this investment in community and charity and team has helped him. Not only they just weathered a COVID impacted storm, and now they're weathering a stoppage. And so, but I will tell you, I guarantee if we got Marty live right now, he'd be comfortable, connected, and confident that they will make their way through given the relationships that they've created. For Marty, it's all about the community, and it's all about connecting their business with that. And I think he lives it. I think it's for him, it is a really broad 360 lens of what's going on there in Omaha. And I think it's a formula others can replicate that have the same passion and dedication for the businesses and communities they're a part of.
The next one, Nick, is leading social change with Dr. Rhodes, EVP and Chief People Capital Officer for the Atlanta Braves. And, some things that stuck out in this one was she talked about how do you build a strong team? She talked about, some of the major takeaways from her dissertation, the survival tactics of Black women in corporate America, and how to create flexible advancement opportunities for your team.
Yeah, Dr. Rhodes is an inspiration for me. I talked to her just a few weeks ago just to catch up. And she continues to impress me with her approach to leadership and change. I think if you're Dr. Rhodes, you're operating in a business that's ever changing. People have this perception that because it's the Atlanta Braves, it just must be, so easy to navigate. It's not. It's a business. It's complex. It has a lot of moving parts. It may have operated with a lot of instinct that now needs to operate with systems. And so, Doretta's at the forefront of making sure that as expectations and needs and wants change in the business of professional sports, that their enterprise is at the forefront of it. And you've seen the success. Some World Series rings do help, I will tell you. But at the same time, they have had to make changes to people, technology, strategy, risk, marketing, and the like. And you know what? Dr. Rhodes is very comfortable with change because she recognizes that as human beings, we have all varying degrees of comfort around change. So she'll identify that, embrace that, and try to help people work through that change so that they're a part of where we're going, not stuck on where we were.
Nick, last but not least, Nick Araco, who heads up AchieveNEXT with your amazing team. And I'd love for you to kind of round out with what is top of mind for you? What are you seeing when you're helping? You have this unique view of helping the top executives across North America and even the world. What's top of mind for you and what you're seeing across the breadth of executives?
The talent equations have the more they change, the more they remain the same. Everyone's talking about supply and demand of talent. Everyone's talking about the great resignation. I would go back to saying that most leaders would say it's not easy to lead in this day and age. There's no one size fits all. There are very few shift-like mentalities minus pure shift work that needs to get done, where you have people doing the same thing over and over. There's great opportunity, great flexibility, great complexity in the equation of leadership and talent and the like. And I will also tell you that culture also means inclusive. We talked a lot about diversity and equity and social justice in 2020 and 2021. 2022 is about culture. That DEI equation is no longer just about what I say or what an enterprise leader say. It's what we do to create more connectedness, more opportunity, more fairness, and more inclusiveness in the workplace. And I think that the majority of leaders that we deal with know that it's about action now. So I think the rhetoric is over. The speak it has to be complemented with do. And I view when people are gathering, they are do tanks, not think tanks, not speak tanks. And I think that if we're going to help them achieve the next level of growth and performance, we're going to hold them accountable to do.
Nick, I want to encourage everyone to go to achievenext.com, learn more. If you check out the podcast, achievenext.com/insight/podcast. You can find it. You can subscribe on your favorite podcast channel. Are there any other places online, Nick, that we should have people check out?
No, I mean, look, we have a pretty active presence on LinkedIn too. Meet the many members of the AchieveNEXT team. We have an amazing group of leaders across the talent spectrum. So if you're an individual or a team or an enterprise that believes that 2022 means the next level and your own achievement, what gets our attention is say hi, ask a question. We're more than happy to talk.
Who are the ideal members to be joining AchieveNEXT, position-wise, size-wise?
Yeah, I mean, look, on the network side, chief financial officers, chief human resource officers, chief revenue or sales officers. We have amazing groups and networks built for you where you can connect with your peers. But we work across the C-suite, across industries, across the globe, but primarily love the emerging and mid-market enterprises. Your stories, your desire to go from point A to point B, your willingness and ability to learn how best to do that and understand that that's not a static equation. So much like the guests that Jeremy highlighted today that we've interviewed on Level Up, if you believe that there is a next level and you've got the interest and ability to take it there, we'll help you.
Everyone check out AchieveNEXT and check out the episodes. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks for tuning in to the Level Up podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to subscribe to get future episodes.